The talking, nagging, lucha watching, puro viewing, indie supporting, drinking, cursing son of a gun of a podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty and co-host Ike Isaacs as they talk wrestling and interview those within the business, bringing positivity back to pro wrestling. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
And welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. This is your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us, however you do, whether it be on SoundCloud, iTunes, or YouTube. Whichever way you do, please subscribe, follow, like, share, comment, rate and review, do all of that stuff, because our greatest tool, our greatest asset, our greatest ally is you, and we thank you for that. We thank you for the support you give us. We thank you for sharing. Things are rolling, man. We're growing. We're doing great things. We've got some great guests coming up. It's just amazing, and it's all thanks to you guys. So, bravo, thank you. We appreciate it. And hey, like we said, together, right? We're an army, right? We're a family here. We're out supporting independent wrestling. We're out supporting wrestling in general. More specifically, we like to support Indiana and Midwest wrestling. And we thank you for that. And speaking of today, we got a great show. We have a legend of the Midwest, former WWA wrestler, one of the Dick the Bruiser's biggest rivals through the late 70s and through the 80s, is the Hooded Hangman. And that's right, he's on the show today. Great interview that my co-host Ike Isaacs did. We appreciate you being patient with us here in recent weeks. I know some of the intros have been short. Ike hadn't been on with me. A few weeks ago, as you may or may not know, I had neck surgery. I had fused a couple of vertebrae in my neck, had a disc removed, all that, and it's been a slow recovery. And part of it is my energy, and I mean, just doing this a little bit kind of wears me out. So I appreciate you being patient as I regain my strength and as things get back to normal. And in the coming weeks, the discussions will pick up, and we'll be talking more about history, especially Indiana wrestling history, discussing some topics. We're going to throw them out there, social media, for you to vote on what you want us to talk about each week, and we're gonna try to bring some exposure to this. We like to support the past, present, and future of Indiana wrestling, and we thank you for joining us in doing so. We're also going to roll out very soon daily hashtag themes for our social media sites, so watch for those and join in on those discussions and sharing of pictures and so forth. So again, we thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors, and when we come back, we will have that fantastic interview with Midwest wrestling legend the Hooded Hangman, so stick around.
Visit LuchaMaskUSA.com for official high-quality lucha masks and merchandise, straight from the luchadors themselves. They have a huge and always growing inventory, so check back often. That's LuchaMaskUSA.com.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am Mike Isaacs, and today we have yet another legend of Midwest wrestling, Rob Wasman, the Hooded Hangman. How are we doing today?
We're doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing great. A little bit of technical difficulties. We finally got this going, and couldn't be more excited.
I know, me too.
All right, so we're just gonna hit the ground running, get this going. So Rob, where are you from?
I'm from Indianapolis.
Right on. So that's pretty straightforward. Indianapolis. What was your childhood like? What kind of sports did you play growing up in Indianapolis?
Well, I went to Tech High School in Indianapolis, and I played football. I wrestled, and I threw the shot put on the track team.
Right on. So you got some good sports going there to build a good foundation for wrestling. Looks like.
Right.
So kind of following up with that, you had those. You wrestled, did the amateur wrestling and whatnot during school, and however it might have worked. But did you like to watch wrestling as a kid when you were growing up? Or were you a fan of wrestling?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, on Saturday night wrestling, and it came on right after Sammy Terry's Nightmare Theater. But it was I used to watch Dick the Bruiser and all them when I was growing up, and I got really interested in it.
Okay, very nice. Who are your favorite wrestlers? Who are your favorite talents when you were growing up?
I like the Valiant Brothers. I like Dick the Bruiser, Yukon Moose Tolok, Bobo Brazil. These guys, these two, the Blackjack Lanza, Blackjack Mulligan.
Oh yeah,
Those are old time guys. I like them guys.
right on. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stories about Blackjack Mulligan. I've heard some interesting stories about him. So,
Yeah.
right on. So, obviously, like you said, you sound like you were a pretty big fan back in the day of wrestling. It looks like you were a
Oh yeah.
huge fan of wrestling. You had a lot of sports background. So, when was it that wrestling really hooked you and you knew that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Actually, when I was in college, one of the guys that helped get my scholarship to college, Chris Taylor, he wrestled in the 1972 Olympics, and he went pro. And when I got out of school, that's what I wanted to do. So he hooked me up with Dick the Bruiser.
Oh, very, very nice, very awesome. So then, when did you start training?
Let's see. My first match was 77, so right around 1977.
Okay. Do you remember who trained
When
you?
I got out of school. Yeah, I got trained by Bruiser himself in his house, in his garage.
Oh, wow. So I bet that was interesting.
Well, it was really interesting. He showed me everything except he didn't tell me that it was that who's going to win and who's going to lose. He didn't tell me that. I thought it was you go out there and try to kill this guy. And they didn't tell me that until about 5 minutes before my match, my very first match at the convention center in downtown Indy.
Oh man, yeah. I remember we actually we spoke on this a little bit before, but yeah, and we were talking about how kayfabe, it was taught differently back then than it is today. So it's like you not having, you didn't really know it was kayfabe. You didn't know about the whole the scripting aspect of it.
No.
So you were ready to go out there and just go ahead.
Oh yeah, my first match was against Big Jim Lancaster, and the guys in the locker room, because Dick the Bruiser had his own area or his own locker room, and the guys went over there and told him to say, "You better talk to this big whiz guy because he's ready to go out and kill this Lancaster." And so Bruiser started laughing, and he called me into his little locker room there, and he told me what was going to go down, and I was going to win, and it was a TV match, and watch for the Sam Lineker to take his glasses off, because that gives you the 1 minute signal, to wrap it up.
I gotcha. So yeah, it's like you were really ready. You were ready to go out there and just beat the crap out of this guy, weren't you?
Oh yeah, nobody told me any different,
Well, I'm sure glad that they did tell you.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. So that was your debut, right? That was your debut match. What was that match like?
Right. Actually, I had butterflies. I was really, really nervous, and I was nervous until I stepped into the ring. And when I stepped into the ring, it's weird because just like when I wrestled in college, once you step into the ring, you're there to do your business, and that's what you're focused on. And I can't even hear the crowd when I'm in the ring.
Oh wow! So I bet you kind of drown the crowd out. You just kind of get into the groove and you just go with it.
Yeah, you just drown the crowd out. Every now and then, like when I was the Hooded Hangman, when I was a heel, you'd hear some ladies yelling out some foul stuff to you or throwing stuff at you,
Right.
But yeah, it was all right. It was good.
Okay. So then, other than working with Bruiser, where else did you work early in your career?
Worked in St. Louis with Pat O'Connor. Worked up in Detroit with the Sheik. Wrestled up in Cobo Hall up in Detroit. In Chicago, but Chicago was a bruiser territory, and Indianapolis. I was basically just Midwest.
Okay. Right on. So it was kind of just you were just in the meat of the Midwest for most of your career and whatnot. So,
right.
And I know we also talked about this a little bit too, but when you first started, I know your gimmick was actually a lot different than it was for like the Hooded Hangman character. So what was your first gimmick?
I came out as a like an amateur Olympic style wrestler.
Okay.
And they called me the Big Wiz, and I've had that nickname Wiz all my life. But that was my first name, and I wrestled in Converse tennis shoes because I didn't have I didn't know where to get boots at. And then I met Big Cat Ernie Ladd. He was wrestling on the card, and he asked me what size feet I had, and I told him. And he says, "Give me your name and address." And he says, "I'll send you a pair of my old kangaroo skin boots when I get back home." And 2 weeks later, UPS delivered a pair of kangaroo skin boots, and I wore them my entire career.
Oh, wow. So I'm assuming those are pretty good pair of boots then, I'm imagining.
Oh, yeah, they were really nice, soft leather. Yeah, they were great.
Now here's a question. Were they actual kangaroo skin?
Yes, they were.
Now, I imagine that might be a little hard to come by, kangaroo skin, especially in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, I guess Ernie Ladd, he used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs, too, before he wrestled, but he must have ordered them or got them when he went to Australia or somewhere, but they were definitely kangaroo skin boots.
Oh, wow. So
took forever to lace them up. Oh my gosh!
I bet it was a process.
They almost went. Yeah, they almost went almost up to your knees.
Oh man!
But they were really good boots.
So then, pardon me. So, obviously, like you've already expressed quite a few stories here. You expressed quite a few interesting little tales and snippets. But when you were doing all this wrestling in your early career, even when you were wrestling for the Bruiser in the 80s and such, are there any good stories about any matches or any opponents from your early career?
Let's see. Bobo Brazil was very easy to work with. I mean, you didn't even have to go over the match, what you're going to do before you went out there. I mean, he'd talk to you during the entire match and let you know what's going on and what to do, what he was going to do. And he was real easy to work with. Bruiser was another good one to work with because he could throw a punch and it looked like it came from left field, and he'd never, ever hit you, but he came so close. Bruiser was probably the best puncher, somebody that could throw a good punch. And Bobo was easy to work with. Moose Cholak was fun to work with. I like working with him.
All right. So I have heard something, though. You were talking about Bruiser a little bit there. I have heard something about when you would get in the ring with Bruiser, is that I've always heard that because of your size and power that Bruiser always took more bumps with you because he couldn't avoid you muscling him into slams and such. So he just kind of went with it.
Right.
Is this a true thing? Is this true?
Yeah, it's pretty true, yeah. Yeah. He, one time, I'm not sure if this is suitable for airing or not, but one time in Market Square Arena, I was wrestling in a Texas death match with him, and I accidentally kicked him in the crotch. Oh. And he got me in a headlock, and he goes, "I'm going to teach you a lesson. You shouldn't be doing that." And he got me down there, and he was acting like he was trying to take my mask off, but at the same time, he had his elbow in my crotch, and it was hurting really, really bad.
So he always got you back a little bit.
Oh yeah, he got me back. Yeah, and he laughed about it afterwards. He was a good guy to work with. Bruiser was an excellent guy.
Absolutely. And I definitely.
And it was an honor for me. It was an honor for me because I watched him growing up on TV, you know, and I got to wrestling maybe 40, 50 times during my career.
Oh, wow. So definitely, I know he.
Yeah.
I've heard so many stories about him. So obviously, I've heard he's quite the legend. There he was.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. And he was a good man. He was a good man off. He was a good man to the people of Indianapolis. I mean, he really did a heck of a job, and he did a lot of charity things that nobody even knew about.
Really?
And he didn't want to take no credit for it, but he did a lot of charity in Indianapolis for folks.
Well, definitely speaking, I've heard he was a very awesome guy, very generous. Every story I've ever heard about him and everything I've ever read, everyone says that pretty much the same thing, that Bruiser is one hell of a guy.
Oh yeah, yep.
So
and
definitely.
Him and Wilbur Snyder ran it, and a lot of times, like if we went up to Chicago or up to Gary or some matches, far away, we'd like 3 or 4 guys ride in Wilbur Snyder's car, up to the matches, and then when we got like a block or 2 away from the arena, he'd tell me to get out, so I had to put my mask on and carry my suitcase, and I had to walk to the arena about a block away, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot about, people saying that, okay, you can ride together, but you can't be seen together type of deal.
Right, exactly.
Because, definitely you had to keep up that appearance that this was, this isn't us, playing characters. This is actually who we are.
Right.
Now,
and then, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, kind of along those same lines, the whole acting out the character deal, you talked about putting on the mask, putting on the hood. So being the Hooded Hangman, that was obviously something that you're very well known for. So who was it that came up with that?
Well, actually, it was the sheriff that I worked for. I was on the sheriff's department in Indianapolis there, Marion County. And the sheriff at the time, he said he called me in his office because he heard I was wrestling, and I wanted to go in. I wanted to go be a bad guy because Bruiser wanted me to turn to a heel since I was so big. And the sheriff said, "I don't mind you wrestling, but he says I don't want people to know that you're a deputy. So he says you're gonna have to wear a mask or something." So I talked it over with Bruiser, and Bruiser came up with the name, and he said, you can be from the Black Forest of Germany or you can be from parts unknown. And I said, well, I don't really care. And he says, you won't be talking. He says, we got, you're going to have managers doing your talking for you during the TV interviews. So, but that's why I wore a mask, because I was on the sheriff's department, and the sheriff, actually, it was Sheriff McAtee. He was chief of police in Indianapolis, and then he ran for sheriff. But he was a super nice guy too. He even came to some of my matches.
Right on. So then it was kind of his inspiration, for not wanting you to be seen in the public eye like that. That kind of made you say, "Well, I got to put on the mask."
Exactly. And then when I was wrestling as the Big Wiz, there was 2 sheriff deputies that would escort all the wrestlers, from the dressing room out to the ring and then back after the match was over. And those two deputies actually talked me into becoming a police officer, and I did that for 27 years.
Oh,
but
wow.
the two guys that worked for Bruiser, they worked for him for many years. They talked me into becoming a cop, and that's what I did. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely kind of an interesting story about how that came about. So certainly, though, while you were the Hooded Hangman, you did have quite a few matches, of course, and you had quite a few legendary matches that, are outnumbered, really. So out of all the matches you've had, especially with the WWA being what it was really a who's who of Midwest wrestling legends and just general wrestling legends. So it's like, what were some of the more notable guys you worked with there?
Let's see. Like I said, Bobo Brazil, Dick the Bruiser, Wilbur Snyder, Spike Huber, El Bracero, Yukon Moose Cholak, Andre the Giant up in Detroit.
Oh, really?
That was just a one-time thing. Let's see. Jerry Valiant. That's about. The Kelly twins. I don't know if you remember them or not. They were two identical twins, redheaded twins. They looked like leprechauns. They were from Canada.
I think I remember hearing something about them after all, like the research and stuff.
Yeah.
So definitely.
And then let's see.
I
had Saul Creechman was my manager.
Oh, really?
He managed it for a couple of years, and Reverend Tiny Hampton, he managed me for a couple of years. So,
yeah. We actually have had like quite a few people that from the Midwest on the show. We had Saul Creechman, or he has other names, but we had him on the show. We had El Bracero on the show, and we also have Bobo Brazil on the show. I mean, we've had a lot of legends on the show, so definitely, those are some really pretty notable names to be certain.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and Dr. Graham, Jerry Graham.
Okay.
Wojciechowski, is that his name? Greg Wojciechowski?
I think that's his name.
I think, yeah. Those guys, those were pretty good guys to work with too.
Yeah, Dr. Jerry Graham Jr. We actually had him on here too as well. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a funny guy too. He's got all kinds of stories.
Well, yeah, he had some pretty good stories. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So, pardon me. So obviously you've just been talking a little bit here, and we've been talking about some of your matches. You've wrestled the likes of Andre the Giant before. I mean, you've wrestled some real legends who are fantastic talents, such as yourself back in the day. And obviously, you wrestled for quite a while. But when was it that you did retire from in-ring competition?
I retired in August of 1986 because I got a prisoner broke my leg in the jail, and he snapped my knee, and what he'd done was they wanted him in court, and the guy was nuts, and he was in his jail cell naked, and he'd covered himself in crap, and we had to get him out because the judge wanted him in court, and I stood on him and was holding the bars, and my foot slipped off of him, and because he was covered in crap, and he reached up with his foot and snapped my leg. And the doctor said if I landed on it wrong, it would break every time. So he told me that was the end of my wrestling days.
It sounds like a very unfortunate incident. So definitely, I probably was a good call though. So to save your health.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it was. I did it for 11 years, and it was a good run. I had fun. Met a lot of great people.
Absolutely. And like we said, I mean, you were a mainstay in Midwest wrestling for many years. So out of all that time, and this might be kind of a hard question, but what would your greatest memory of your time wrestling be?
Well, there's probably two, and they were both at Market Square Arena. One was against Dick the Bruiser in the Texas Death Match. The owner of the Dick's Harem House, it used to be out on Pendleton Pike. It was a go-go, topless place. The owner of the place, he sent a big bouquet of black roses to Market Square Arena, and they delivered them to the center of the ring. And it said, "Dick the Bruiser, may you rest in peace, the Hooded Hangman." And that was pretty cool, because when Dick came out, Dick didn't know that was going to be there. And when he came out, he grabbed this big wreath of roses, and he smashed them all over, my head, and roses went flying everywhere out into like the first couple rows. That was a pretty cool memory. And the other one was when I put Spike Huber in the hospital, and I body slammed him up against all four ring posts. I'd just take him from ring post to ring post and just slam him. And then I slammed him out on the steps, to go up into the ring. And he laid there and went into convulsions, and they took him out in an ambulance that night.
Oh my! So you definitely. First of all, with your style of wrestling, it definitely seems like you're definitely the muscle kind of guy. So that does not surprise me. but kind of on the same note, you've had a lot of great moments. You have a lot of great memories. But what do you hope that people see when they look at your career?
That I was able to entertain the folks. I wanted people when I was a heel. I wanted people to hate my guts, and it got so bad for a while there that I had to quit taking my wife and kids to the wrestling matches, because people start spitting on my wife and my kids and throwing beer on them. So finally, I just had to let them stay home.
Oh, wow.
But that was probably the biggest thing that I'd want people to remember, is that I wanted them to know that, I was a good wrestler, but I was also a pretty decent bad guy too.
Absolutely. And I think people definitely see that. The Hooded Hangman is kind of an iconic character, I think, because of how mysterious the character was for the time and how inventive it was. So I definitely think that people will see that, because, from videos I've seen, matches I've watched, I definitely think people hated you.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
So definitely, from your time in wrestling and whatnot, things have definitely changed over the years, to say at least. But
oh no,
in the modern age, what are your opinions of this modern style of wrestling?
I think the smaller markets are more entertaining than like the WWE. To me, the WWE is it's too showy, too flashy. It's just too it's out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but the smaller markets, I think you get a lot more bang for your buck, and I think the smaller markets, where you're really close to the crowd and in a smaller venue, I think those are better for the crowd and for the workers.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that sometimes sometimes the WWE can be a little overproduced, I think, and sometimes those smaller shows are a little more personal, and I think you can get a lot more across with those smaller shows.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to get to.
Absolutely. So definitely. So as we kind of wrap up the interview, we always ask this of the people we interview, but is there any kind of fun facts about you, Rob, that maybe your fans don't know? Any fun facts about the Hooded Hangman that maybe people don't know about?
Actually, I'm a really shy guy. I'm pretty shy and kind of to myself kind of guy. And when I had the mask on, I could communicate what I wanted, how I wanted with the crowd to get them to hate me. But if I had the mask off, that would never have happened. The mask kind of brought the Hooded Hangman alive.
Absolutely. And that's actually a really good fun fact. That's really good. So definitely that's, and I think, like you said, I think it's the same for a lot of people, and I think that might even be a little bit of inspiration for people who maybe are a little shy and say that, hey, you can still do it, but maybe you just need to put the mask on so that you can let that inside come out a little bit.
Exactly. Because when you put the mask on, it's like you're in charge, and you can do what you want and say what you want, and nobody knows because they don't know who you are.
Absolutely.
And it was to me, it was a lot easier to wrestle with the mask than it was without the mask.
And certainly you had some pretty good matches but also some really great matches with it as well.
Oh, exactly.
So certainly. So last question for you. Do you have any social media?
Okay.
Anything that fans can keep up with you on here?
Well, I mean, I'm on Facebook. I'm under Rob Wisman.
Okay.
On Facebook, and they're more than welcome to friend me, and follow me if they like.
All right. So anybody who's out there who wants to follow the Hooded Hangman on Facebook, look him up. You know his name, Rob Wisman. So check him out. So certainly, Rob, first of all, I want to thank you for coming on here and talking to us and letting us pick your brain a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that. It was an honor to talk to you, and it's like a blast from the past, and I feel really honored, and I thank you very much.
Absolutely. And like I said, thank you so much for being on here, Rob. We really appreciate it. You're definitely a legend in of yourself. And like I said, it's an honor and a pleasure being able to speak to you.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Come crack open a cold one and let Old Manser tell you a story.
King of Big Dog Style, Laird's and Light Beer, the king of the trailer court, your favorite wrestler of mine, me.
This is Warner's Wisdom with Mance Warner.
All right, people, here we go. Old Master right here, back at it, giving y'all a little bit more of this old Warner's wisdom right here. Now let me set it up for you real quick, because Old Master forgot there for a second what he's supposed to do here. Dramatic pause. This is your favorite wrestler and mine, me, Old Master, right here on another edition of Warner's Wisdom on the Dave Dynasty Show. Do what only Master does, baby. Bringing the funk, bringing the heat, bringing the... What's another cool catchphrase I can throw in there? I ain't got nothing right now, but I'll work back to it. That's how it's done, people. Your favorite wrestler, me, Old Master, King of Big Dog Style, Laird's and Light Beer, the master of the pop-up headbutt. Hold on there. I got my phone here blowing up, people. People try to get hold of Old Master for bookings out here. Oh, that brings me to my next point. Old Master got some new t-shirts coming out here. Beautiful picture of Old Master's face on there with all my beautiful catchphrases. It's artsy. It makes a picture of Manser out of words. It's beautiful, people. I can't describe it. I didn't come up with it. I ain't no artsy fartsy folk, man. I just come up with ideas and other people make them, and then I sell them at the shows now. It ain't going to be on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can still go to Pro Wrestling Tees to get Old Master's Laird's and Light Beer t-shirt. This is limited edition runs. It's going to be at the live shows, the live events. You got to come out and see Old Master get this one. Now, let me get on a topic here for this week. Old Master going to talk about something called match ratings. Match ratings. R-A-T-I-N-G-S. I believe that's how it's spelled. Old Master had a couple concussions in his time. I forget things. I'm going to talk about what the wrestling websites, the boards, Old Meltzer, people that watch the wrestling matches and then they decide to put their input and give it ratings. They're going to say, this is a rating. This is 1 out of 4 stars, 4 out of 4 stars, 5-star match, 6-star match. Now, you can only get a 6-star match if you over in Japan. That's the way it works. All the really, really, really good 5- and 6-star matches, you got to be in Japan. I don't know what it is. It's something about the big Japanese arenas. Old Master been there, but it's something about that's how you get the really big star. You can have a great match in the States, but you gotta be in the Tokyo Dome to get that 5 or 6 star rating from old Meltzer. Now, let me go over this topic, because in old Mancer's mind, everybody should want to have the best match on the card. For the sole reason of you get in the ring, you win, you go to the pay window, and you get your green and your white. That's your white envelope with your green money in it. Right, people? That's what we're doing this for. So you can pay them light bills. So you keep the intro net on at your house. So you get on the Twitter and the Instagrammer and the Facebook and the YouTuber and the SoundCloud. Just happens to bring to what I was about to say earlier. All those social medias I just named, you can find the Dave Dynasty Show on, with Warner's wisdom out here preaching to you people about the way the world works, baby. Oh, Master. Okay, before I get on this tangent, I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. Match ratings. Now, it blows my mind when a guy ain't ever even been in a wrestling ring can sit down there and determine if a match is good or not. That goes over my head every single day of the week. You ain't ever taken a bump, but you can sit out there and say exactly what makes a good match and why it's a good match. And then give it a star rating, which determines how good that match is. In my opinion, in my eyes, if the crowd is into it, the crowd's having a good time, they're clapping along, they're loving the show, they're putting down their money, they're in their seat. There's a booty in every seat in the front row to the 15th row to the 20th row, up in the bleachers, hanging from the rafters, like old Hootie say. Then I think the rating system don't even matter, man. Everyone had a good time. Everybody is forgetting about reality and they're enjoying the damn show, baby. They come down there, old Master walks out, starts up a riot, gets in that ring. I wipe my boots before I do so, because that's where I paint my masterpiece. I get in the ring, I put the boots somebody, I tear them up, and then hit the pay window. That's what it's all about. Correct? I think so. But I ain't going to go too deep on it and start bitching and moaning about why someone would listen to this guy's opinion on how many stars you're going to give a match. But if you're in the Tokyo Dome, you're going to get 6. That's just the way it works. Take some head bumps, too. That's what old Master does. Now, to diverge into this a little bit more here, I think everybody their main purpose should be have a good matchup. Entertain the crowd, entertain the people that paid money to see it. But nowadays, too many people are too wrapped up in, oh man, I gotta have the best match in the world because old Meltzer is gonna put me over on the boards, baby. Because I want the fans to go home and put me on the internet and say how good my match was. See, when old Master sits down, I show up to the venue. I get a couple of light beers in me. I get ready to rock and roll. I get my beautiful jacket on that was made by my man, David Lopan. Shout out to David Lopan. Props to Lopan down in the Orient, baby. Bringing old Master over there sometime soon. I do hope, because I got to get me a good payday out there. Now, Lopan, depending what day of the week, we either love each other or hate each other. Let's see, I'm going on a tangent again now. Me and Lopan got some heat. You people know this. You go back in the archives and you can see exactly what old Master talking about. Now, back to what old Master was saying. Like I said, I got to keep this show rolling today because old Master got to get back out there drinking them light beers. It's almost Memorial Day weekend. I got to go out there and have a good time now. Got to finish up mowing this yard too. Old Master got to mow the yard, man, because if not, everyone else around here mow so quick every day that old Master yard look bad, and then I can't be looking like a fool out here now. I gotta get that yard mowed. Now, okay, back to what I'm saying here. Like I said, got them black bears, they're sitting on ice right now. They're getting cold. I mean, they're getting colder, but they're also getting warmer because that ice is gonna melt while old Mancer in here spitting fire on here on the podcast for all my people out there. All little Mancers running around. what old Master's talking about out here is so many people get wrapped up and I got to go out there and I got to do all these flips and dives and dip-de-doos because I want everyone out there to go put me over on the boards. Maybe Meltzer here. Maybe Meltzer give me a 5-star match, a 4-star match, a 3/3 match up, man. See, back in my day, old Master and the boys, we didn't get on there on the dirt sheets and say, hey, man, how many stars you guys get? I don't give a shit. Master don't care. You know what Master tries to do? Besides get the pay window before everyone else, I could get on sell my merch too out in the parking lot. That's something smart too. You got to catch these people and they're leaving, man. They spend their money at the get-go and then everyone's hitting the road. You got to be out in the parking lot, drinking them light beers, having a good time, selling them t-shirts, selling them 8x10s, man. You got to get a different 8x10 every couple of weeks. You got to be smart about this, people. Try and make some money out here. Now, okay, old Master, let me get back to what I'm talking about here. Giving away all my wisdom for you people out here. When you sit down here and you determine every day to where you go, every time I get in that ring, I gotta have the best match in the world. So old Meltzer will put me over on the board. You've already screwed up. You already done fucked up right there. The reason being, you gotta know your place on the card, man. You gotta know if you the opening match, you start the second match, the third match, you before intermission, you after intermission. You gotta know your place on the card, bud. You can't go out there trying to do a million damn flips because everyone else probably already did it because everybody's thinking the same thing. I got to get on there for Meltzer, man. Meltzer puts me over on the board on the dirt sheets and I'm going sky high. And I ain't talking about D-Lo Brown. That's a D-Lo Brown reference. Number 15 for the day that match is done. D-Lo's the man. I love you, D-Lo. Now, okay. What I'm saying here is you got to know your place on the card. You got to go out there. And the main objective in this industry is get that W so you get paid more. Duh. Come on, dummy. If you listen to old Master, you learn something out here, people. Know that place on the card, because if not, you're just going to look like a fool, man. You're going to piss some people off. If you got a good booker, man, he going to tell you, what the hell are you doing in the first place? Okay, let me get back. Let old Master roll back here for a second. Rewind it back to what I was saying about that star system, the rating system, the old Meltzer star system. The old Sam Robert does the same thing. He on there talking about how good a match is. I don't see old Sammy taking no bumps out there. Sam Roberts ain't getting in the ring. If he is, old Master wants him one-on-one. Put the word out. Sam Roberts, old Master, getting in the ring. We could do a verbal dispute on the air if that's what you want to do too. Okay, so I'm getting heated up here. I just got to remember, old Master got them light beers sitting in there on the ice. They're getting warm now because that ice is going to melt away. It's humid out here, people. I got to stay on track. I got to keep the train moving. Got to keep the wheels spinning on that truck. I got to get moving down the road about what I'm talking about, you people. I can't be getting worked up about Sam Roberts and old damn Dave Meltzer every time I start talking. Okay. Like old Master was saying here. Who? Jimmy Christmas. I'm getting worked up out here talking to you people. Okay. There is only one star system, a rating system that you should abide by. This is the one old Master abides by. I don't want to have a 4-star matchup. I don't want to have a 5-star matchup. Old Master don't want to have a 6-star matchup. Old Master wants 1 star. And that 1 star is Old Master. Old Master a star, and I get a big old payday. That's all that matters. That's what you should be thinking about. You should be saying, I'm the man or I'm the lady. Because they're female wrestlers right here, people. Open them eyes up, man. It's 2017. I'm the man or I'm the lady. I'm the superstar. I'm going to get a big old payday. People came here to see me. You think like that, you've already won, baby. Because you walk it, you talk it, and everybody believes it. If you don't, you're in the wrong business. Hit the bricks, hit the road, stick to them 40-mile shows, and get out of Master's face, baby, because I'm trying to get on the highway and make them memories. Okay, people. Old Master got to get off here because, like I said, I got them light beers. I can't be getting on here getting too worked up about Meltzer and Sam Roberts. Okay. This has been Old Master with another edition of War of Wisdom here on the Dave Dynasty Show. The best part of the Dave Dynasty Show. You people know it. I know it. Old Master right here. Bringing the wisdom, bringing the knowledge. You listen, you learn something. If you don't, I'm choking up. Old Master dying out here. All my goodies kicking up on me. Oh, can't puke them up. That's a waste of money. Now, okay, back to what Mancer's saying. Just listen to what I'm saying. Know that spot on the card. Know what you're doing. Be a superstar. And that's what you got to do, baby. Until next time, this has been another edition of Words Wisdom on the Dave Dynasty Show. You can put this, retweet it on the Twitter, put it on the SoundCloud. It's on the SoundCloud. It's going to be on the SoundCloud. Watch it on there. It's on the YouTuber. Pop it up. Like it. Share it. It's on the Facebook. You people know where it's going right now. You people notice you've been tuning in to hear old Mancer talk to you and drop some knowledge. Okay, old Mancer gonna go drink them light beers, people. Y'all have a good time. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Get an Uber. That's a thing. I just found out about them. They're beautiful. But old Mancer gets drunk, gets in an Uber, and I'm basically giving away free shoot interviews to whoever's driving me. I should start charging them and tell them, hey, I'm going to give you the same deal I give RF Video or the High Spots. Okay, I'm getting off here. I'm going to go partake in some light beer drinking. See y'all next time.
Visit our friends at the Masked Republic. Go to luchaloot.com and luchashop.com and use the promo code DYNASTY for exclusive discounts.
And welcome back. I am your host, Dave Dynasty, and this is the Dave Dynasty Show, where we bring positivity back to pro wrestling. This is where we try to gain a little exposure, a little support for professional wrestling, particularly independent wrestling, particularly Indiana Midwest wrestling. And that means part of that is you know what, getting some new eyes on some of these legends of the area, like the Hooded Hangman. Lots of people aren't familiar with the Hooded Hangman. They're not familiar with this wrestler. So I urge you to go out, check him out. You can begin that search by visiting us on YouTube. Look us up, Dave Dynasty on YouTube. We always, every week, have a playlist featuring 4 matches from our featured guest on the podcast. So that's your best jumping off point to exploring and checking these guys out and helping support. And, you know, that's what it is. It's all about. Tell everybody about these legends. Tell everybody that, you know what, hell, Indiana wrestling is great. Always has been. You know what? So it needs the respect, the attention it deserves. And we thank you for joining us in that mission. We have a great episode next week coming up. We just recorded the interview. It's with NWA wrestler, the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. It is a great, great interview. We discuss a lot this recent thing going on with Rip Rogers and Randy Orton and Will Ospreay and so on and so forth with the dive and the headlock. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you're a wrestling fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We discussed that a lot. We discussed the clash of styles in wrestling and the differences of opinions, and we really get into that, and it's a great discussion. So that's coming out next week, a great interview with Greg Anthony. And in the coming weeks, we got interviews coming up with Wildfire Tommy Rich, former NWA World Champion, a legendary wrestler. Again, he doesn't give his props, man. The guy should be in the Hall of Fame. He is amazing, still is, and there's going to be some. I'm telling you, there's going to be some amazing stories in that one. You don't want to miss that one. Plus, we're going to speak with R.D. Reynolds, most known for being the founder, and curator, whatever you want to call him, of their website WrestleCrap. But little do a lot of people know that he got his start right here in the Midwest, right here in Indiana, as a manager. So we're gonna talk to R.D. Reynolds. It's gonna be great, and then we're gonna also speak with Midwest legend, Handsome Johnny Starr, a great manager from the WWA, kind of the guy that almost had to attempt to fill the shoes when Bobby Heenan left. So we're gonna talk to him too. So some great interviews coming up again next week. Greg Anthony. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Spread the word. Go to Pro Wrestling Tees. Buy a T-shirt. That's the best way to support the store. Go to DaveDynasty.com. You can find links to all of our past episodes and all their formats. Links to all of our social media, to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, to our Amazon.com and HighSpots.com affiliate links, to all of our sponsors. And make sure you check and subscribe us on YouTube. Lots of good stuff going up there as I dig stuff out of my archives and put it out there for the world to see, good or bad. Just posted up a match from my days back in Hoosier Pro Wrestling that I wrestled promoter Jerry Wilson when I was a manager. Not the greatest piece of work in the world, but it is part of my journey, part of my history, and I put it out there because you know what? That's what it is, man. Life's the journey. So we'll see you next week as we have that interview with Greg Anthony, and we'll have once again more wisdom with Mance Warner and all the usual fun and so forth. Maybe we'll throw a discussion on the next week. Hopefully I'm feeling up to it, and we can do that. So until next week, be safe, be good, Be independent and keep on growing. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.